Arlette is the creator of Pretty for a Big Girl and a wonderful producer of film and theater and an actress here in Atlanta. It's an upcoming series that is funny. It'll leave you feel empowered and beautiful. I am under the impression that this series will be something that we'll be seeing on one of the major television networks here in the very near future. I met Courtney as I was looking for some help with a reading that I was doing a number of years ago. She is bright, driven, and an amazing person to be around. I have seen her give to anyone anything that they need, and she is such a blessing. I have placed some links below, so hopefully you can follow her and get prepared for this amazing series. We want to thank her again at the Rising Tides charity for her joining us on this podcast today. Thank you so much, Courtney, and we look forward to having you with us. This is your friend Winston, and I and the Rising Tides charity are pleased to share this conversation with our dear colleague, Courtney. Hello, everyone. This is Winston Wilson with the Rising Tides podcast. I am so excited, as I always am, about what we're doing. And today we've got a really great guest that every single one of you will enjoy. So please, wherever you are, stop what you're doing. Go to iTunes, go to Podbean, go to Facebook. Go ahead and subscribe to the Rising Tides charity and to this podcast, because our very special, awesome guest today, you're going to want to hear everything that she's got to say. And real quick, I'll just tell you all about how I met the wonderful Courtney. And I've had a lot of readings of a lot of things over a period of time, probably close to a dozen. And one that I had that I was going to ultimately start to produce, because I was tired of waiting for somebody to say, hey, is this or that or that? And I was just going to go ahead and do it. She came to that reading, and she and I had a conversation at the talkback after the reading was over that was similar to a conversation you have with a really close friend. And so ever since then, we've had a chance to be part of some amazing projects that are going on around Atlanta. We've got a lot of the same friends. And so, everyone, I would like to introduce you to the wonderful Miss Courtney. Courtney, say what's up to people.
Hey, guys.
So, for all of you who are out there, please make sure that you are following with us and talking to and subscribing to our podcast. So, Courtney, real quick, I want us to jump in and start to talk about what do we think about the Atlanta community, what are the things that are going well, what are the things that are challenging. So do your thing, tell the audience about how you feel about that, and then we'll have time to talk about all of the great initiatives and projects you're working on.
I think they kind of transition into each other.
That's awesome.
I enjoy the Atlanta community. I do feel like we have some growing to do, as far as like incorporating different indie filmmakers and artists into what is our culture here in Atlanta, because it's kind of like a takeover spirit that's going on now from the big dogs in different places.
That's right.
They realize that Atlanta is a multi-billion-dollar film industry, and one of the things that I've noticed is that we have big names coming here and doing film. You know, they're doing it a little bit cheaper, but they're not using the Atlanta-based actors and talent. Really, they're flying in a lot of people from LA.
Right. Yeah.
So, I think that there is definitely a grinding spirit in Atlanta. There is a hunger to be able to do more and to create our own version of Black Hollywood. I think that one of the drawbacks on that is that we are always emulating and not necessarily trailblazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We get to the point where we feel like, oh yes, the formula works and we got to stick to this. I'm like, yeah, you're supposed to learn the rules so you can break them.
That's right.
And
or learn them to break, or learn them to break them. Right? One of them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Learn them so you can learn to break them, so that you can learn to use what is best for you. I think that's one of the things that I am learning as I'm meeting a lot of independent filmmakers and artists, anybody from musicians to poets to painters, sculptors, everybody that's got their hands in the arts in Atlanta, is that everybody is grinding, but everybody wants to grind up another level. It's not let's grind together and create our platform. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's cool, but when I get so and so to come in and direct my film, then I'll be hitting. No, actually, you're hitting now.
You're describing sort of like a barrel, if you understand the metaphor, and people in the barrel.
We have to stop depending on people to validate our dreams. Yeah. We have to stop depending on people to validate, oh, well, maybe I'm a good writer if so-and-so likes it. Well, everybody around you likes it.
That's enough. Just do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. You got a crew of 25 people and everybody's willing to donate $100, but you're still focused on trying to get $3,000 from somewhere else, but you got a group of 25 people that's willing to donate $100 each.
Keep it moving. Collaborate.
Keep it moving. Yeah. Keep it moving. So another thing that I've noticed in the Atlanta market is there is a certain look that we go for. There is a certain, whether it's male or female, we have this Hollywood ideal. And if it doesn't fit the Hollywood ideal, then it doesn't work.
Really?
And I'm pretty sure that your listeners by now are figuring out by now that I am not the average size 6 by my statement. I decided that
neither am I. I am who I am. That's for sure.
I decided that I was not going to conform to be great. Yeah.
That's an awesome statement. Can you say that one again?
I decided that I wasn't going to conform to be great.
So I ask you to say that again because I hope that the audience hears that is just really a powerful statement, because a lot of us, we're all in this world where we're trying to conform. And a lot of it, we get someone who tells us that, right? And when we're 6 years old, someone tells us you got to conform. But when you get grown and when you get to the point when you are creative in your own life, because we all are, and God has given us that ability to do so, we don't need to conform. We need to be ourselves. So,
absolutely.
You shared something, and you and I were talking earlier, kind of off podcast, about this concept that I admire so much in you, is that you balance many things, including a job and all of these great things that you're working on. And I've done that same thing, or tried to do that same thing. And I used some colorful language earlier about people who are who are attempting to say, hey, that's not the way you should go. You should just do it the way that some other person did it. And my opinion has always been that we should just do it our way. Your way.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't do it anybody else's way. There's no formula to success. The formula is you make the formula and then you execute the formula. So, what do you think about that? Because we talked about that.
I think that a lot of times people like to take the easy road out, and the easy road out can be quitting your job. And that's not saying that anybody who has quit their job and done dream chasing 110%, they are not the go-getters. But those of us who keep a regular job and still donate donate time to other people's projects and still put time within our own projects and give the same amount of time that we do in the office to our own projects, regardless of how tired we are, we're grinding as well.
That's right.
Because I hold down a regular job, and my job is not your 9 to 5. I work sometimes longer than 9 to 5, and I still have to come home and make sure call sheets are done, and make sure that the castings are posted, and make sure that I have production meetings late at night.
Yes.
With different people on teams. I still have to make sure that I can balance a budget, and that wardrobe is done, and all of the people in the different departments that are working with me and for me are together.
Yeah.
I still have to make sure that scripts are posted so that feedback can be given. I still have to do all of these things, answer emails, look through casting submissions. I got to give just as much time with my stuff as I do with someone else, if not more.
And I would say an extension of that is that you and I are both involved with things where we're giving our efforts and our time to help great projects come to life. Mm-hmm. And on top of all the things you say, or you just said in regards to what you do when you have to come on in regards to your productions, you have to do that as well. And to me, that is who we are, right? Jesus says, love me like love one another like I've loved you. And so that means that we're supposed to give our time to each other like that.
Yeah, there's no, I don't have any free time. All of my time is accounted for. That's why I have a schedule. I got to make sure that I am not missing a beat and getting things done, because I feel like I have to grind as much for myself as I am laboring for somebody else.
That's right.
And that labor helps to pay for wardrobe and production meetings and crafty and catering.
That's right.
And location rentals, helps to pay for sound, renting equipment, editing. It does all of that. Now, don't get it twisted. If somebody comes up to me and they say, here is a check that is blank and it will not bounce, write your amount and come grind full time, I can tell that job, I love you, I saw you, I came, I conquered, bye-bye.
One of the things, cool things you just said about all of those tasks and all those things you have to do is that there are people involved with those tasks. And so in order for you to do this and to get it, you are helping other people with their own ambitions or goals or, their path. And so I remember this quite clearly, because at one point when I was starting off, I was like, man, why is this happening? Is this good? Is it working? Am I going to be successful and all this kind of thing? And someone said to me, it's like, well, there's a bunch of actors involved and you're helping them to refine the greatness of themselves. Mm-hmm. I said, well, shoot, that is such a beautiful way of thinking it. That just reinvigorated, the way I felt about what I was doing. So.
And you're helping to remove the doubt and the second guessing that you develop as an adult, as you become an adult. Because as kids, our minds are open to the possibilities of everything. Our minds are open to, oh man, I can be an astronaut. I can fly if I think hard enough. This mud is the best pie ever. We go through that, and then as we get older, we're told that we have to conform. We are told that we have to act this way in order to be accepted into society. We have to look a certain way. We have to move a certain way. And then all of the things that make us unique and make us who we are, it kind of gets squeezed out every time we have to do something that is against what we naturally feel we should be doing.
Yeah.
So you are helping yourself remember who you are. You are helping yourself refine your talents and your gifts for writing, and you are nurturing people as you are being nurtured. You are growing. You are rekindling your imagination and your spark for life.
One of the things you said that just made me think about this, and for all of those who are listening, please don't steal this idea. One of the books I'm going to write one of these days is to sell like a 7-year-old. And so you
a great concept.
Have you ever told? That's right. We can write it together. Have you ever heard a 7-year-old try to convince you of something? They do not give up on the first, second, or fourth try. They just use different tactics.
Listen, Linda. That's right. Listen.
That's right. They just keep going. They just keep going.
Absolutely.
So it's So thank you for your comments about the Atlanta community. I'm the same way you are. I'm not moving anywhere. This is the best place in the world to be for creatives. So all of those who are listening to this all around the world, we hope that you come and see some of the great things that Courtney and all of the rest of us are doing. Let me ask you, people, people that you know of or people that you've encountered throughout your growth, who are some of the people that have been the most impactful to you or have had the most effect on what you're trying to get done?
Directly or indirectly?
Either way.
Okay. Well, I know the controversy surrounding the Cosby Show. Blah blah. No, we're not gonna go there. But that shows like that were very impactful in my imagination as a kid, because I always found myself pretending to be one of the Huxtables. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the child that was away at school, that was coming back, that probably got in trouble. I was the one that was helping Theo to get away with dirt and trying to help tame Vanessa's hair. I was the one that was keeping Rudy from eating all of the cookies and helping Dad stuff the cake. You know what I'm saying? And putting frosting over it. I was also the child who watched the Klingons on TV, so I was walking around with my fake little accent, thought that I was one of the lost Klingon children of Star Trek. So indirectly watching our pioneers like Felicia Rashad, Bill Cosby, Debbie Allen, Diane Carroll, just going on and on and on and on, watching The Wiz, Diana Ross. Those indirectly helped to fuel my imagination because I wanted to create something that looked like that. And that's what started me writing at a young age.
That is
Directly,
so cool.
I would say
that was so cool. That was so cool. I didn't, that was a path that I didn't know was going to go, but I think that was great. So, that's awesome.
It's that's my indirect. Indirect is watching someone like Ava DuVernay.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, she's amazing, and she just decided one day that she was gonna pick up a camera at 30-something years old. Even in her career, she was like, yeah, no, this is what I want to do. It's the Issa Raes that say, you ain't got to fund my stuff. I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I'm going to keep going. And not only did you keep going, but you got to the point where you had a big enough voice that when HBO approached you, you still could put the same people you had on your show on YouTube on HBO.
That's right, yeah.
I directly am influenced by my mom. Oh. She is the one that will want me to tell her my stories over and over and over again. And she's just like, well, no, that ain't what you told me last time. So did you write that down? You need to make sure.
Your mom was holding you accountable on it, like your editor?
She was holding me accountable. And her thing is dream big, but live bigger. Find what makes you happy and grab hold to that thing like it is the last part of the Skittle you wanted from that bag, and you don't let it go, honey. Directly, I have a really great community of friends and family who, for instance, like my first production, it was at church.
Well, a lot of people, that's the case for a lot of people, right?
And I had been acting outside of church for a while. I had been acting school. I've been acting since 2002. And I was like, oh man, I had this idea. It was called Journey of Freedom. And I really wanted to do this musical that really represented our culture and who we were as a people, and we had a budget of $150.
Oh wow!
And I
Big
was
time.
like, listen, making the coins, okay? I said, well, what am I gonna do? And I was so discouraged. I was like, we don't have any costumes. They was like, but your script is amazing. So literally, my friends came in with their own African attire. Some of that stuff was West Indian. But we made it work. And we put together this program, and I remember the response that I got was, it was great. And I'm here and thinking to myself, oh my God, these people are going to be thinking about the fact that we use the church bushes, like the little greenery that they put in front of the church.
You use them on the stage?
we made that into the African bush, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
my goodness.
I was like, these people are going to be talking about, and nobody did. They were like, we can't wait for next year. And we did a different one the next year, and my friends told me, they were like, hey, well, what do you need? I said, well, I need X, Y, and Z. And they said, okay. And I literally left to go make sure that the actors were okay.
Mm-hmm.
We had all of these random items from people's houses. We had a couch that somebody said we could use, we had to go pick up. We had all of this stuff, and my sister and a really good girlfriend of mine, her name is Astrid Prudent. I love you, Astrid. They literally transformed it into a full set, and you would have thought that we had somebody come in and design this, did the set design. And those are my direct influences, because regardless of how small the budget may be, as long as the vision is clear, they will take it and run with it. And it's gotten me to the point now where it's up to plan. I am not waiting until I have all of my people together before I plan. I just write the vision and I make it plain so that anybody that sees it can follow and fall in line.
That's powerful. And I think you're exactly right. Planning is the key to everything, right? Because I would concur that everything that I've planned, it doesn't come out 100% the way that it's planned, but it comes out 90%. And that's the point. And that's the real reason that helps us get there. So, Courtney, we were talking about really us jumping in and making sure that we're getting what we need to get done and being inspirational around that. Did you have any other thoughts about that?
Yes. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention I call them my think tank. So think tank for me are friends or family, just people who you can tell your stories to 197 times. And they listen and give you feedback every single time. Every single time. I sometimes have to apologize to my friends and say, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm in one of my writing moods. I need you to listen to this or read this and tell me what you think.
That's cool.
One of my friends, her name is Keisha Lake. In fact, she is the co-owner of American Sushi, which is an amazing recording studio. So that's American Sushi Recordings.
All right, that's
and
cool. Keisha Lake.
Keisha Lake. Yes,
cool.
You know Keisha.
Yeah.
You've heard of Keisha if you haven't met her. She is one of the people that helps me flush out my ideas. And she's kind of like my mom in the fact that she keeps me accountable, because she's heard the stories so many times that she'll be like, no, you can't do that with this story because you said you were going to do this with that. And she is my drill sergeant.
Wow.
So even with something like doing my productions as far as like plays, because we do some of everything, plays, film, she will come in and, no, you wasting time, you can't do this, and no, you need to, and she keeps me on track and she keeps me balanced, and balance is important.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because as artists we get scatterbrained. That's just being truthful. When you can do more than one thing, you get excited about it, and then one idea pop in your head, and then you'll put the pen down and pick up another piece of paper and the pen and start writing on that one. And that's you got a table full of stuff that is not complete.
I was telling you earlier about me finding this archive of all of these ideals and all these things. There was dozens and dozens and dozens of things. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so all over the place. I got to put this stuff in one repository so I understand what the heck is going on.
Listen, and as artists, we need somebody that's going to say, no, take your butt back to A and finish A. And now we're going to go to B. while I proofread A.
Cool.
All right, B is done. Okay, cool. So make the changes on this from A while I proofread B, and that's my process. That's how I get things done. I always hear her little brain, her little head, her little voice in my head.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's like the kid that walks in to see the cookies on the table, and you want to grab one and then grab another one for your other hand, and she's like, "No, finish that one.
That's fantastic.
Then you can have another cookie."
That's such a cool thing. So let me just share with everybody. You know, you've got such a presence here in the city. Tell everyone what you're working on, what some of the things you got going, because I know there's a lot, but maybe that's the real key big things that are upcoming.
Okay. Well, two of the things that I'm currently working on, I am working with this phenomenal group of writers, directors. It's just like your mixtape, if you will, called Sour Milk. And it is an eclectic group of people who all have a passion, for film and entertainment and writing and developing great stories. And we're just together now sorting through to figure out what we should give you first.
Yeah.
Like there's no lack of materials.
That is for sure.
Sometimes we have too much material. But it is just trying to figure out what we should present first, because it is amazing. It requires time and effort, and I'm excited because we've got 17 different writers.
Yeah, and
12 different directors.
That's exactly right. That is that's a nice
board of directors,
nice community of people. That's for sure.
And they're all movers and shakers in the Atlanta area, and they're all independent filmmakers. And they decided, we're going to come together and we're going to make a statement. We like to call ourselves the Dungeon Family of Film. So, hey, how y'all doing? That is the things that we're doing. And then one of the most recent projects I'm working on is called Pretty for a Big Girl. I'll say it again for your audience. That's Pretty for a Big Girl. Huh? If you haven't figured it out by now, I am indeed a big girl. And I am pretty. Okay? Just in case you wanted to know.
That is so cool. I'll stop you there real quick, because you're right on all those accounts. And I think one of the things I think that was so you sent me, and I was so appreciative that you actually shared with me the script of it. And I was telling you earlier that sometimes I read scripts because I get them a lot, because there's so many cool things going on. And I just read it, and then I just archive it, and I maybe talk to the person. But I think kind of unconsciously, I was like writing down things on the script as I was going along, because it just had me so enthralled. It was just that cool. You're such a phenomenal writer. You really are.
Thank you. And you were writing, and I don't know, you should probably go back and look at your notes, because I was laughing at your responses, and I was like, yes. And I respect your writing so much. I was like, oh, man. I was like, I got some genuine. He booed one of my characters, y'all. Like, seriously, he put the words boo. He was like, boo, and named the character. Like,
well, that's cool. I love those kind of stories where you get somebody to boo at. I hate stories where everybody's just all good or everyone's all bad. I just like somebody does something, you just go, nah, you suck.
Yeah, we got some jokes in Pretty for a Big Girl. But it is a scripted series. We are almost done with filming the pilot. The pilot has actually been written and copywritten and registered with WGA. Hello.
All right.
But I have a group of phenomenal actors. Like, they are so dope. And I'm not just saying it because they're mine. I'm saying because they are dope. And I'm excited for the time to come when in the off season they can go work on other stuff.
Wow.
And they just come back to Pretty for a Big Girl when it's time to film. You feel me?
Yes.
So Pretty for a Big Girl just kind of deals with the dating scene here in Atlanta, being a plus size woman, the good, the bad, the in between, and some of the other stuff we can't mention because this is a family podcast.
Well, I would tell you that, you know, there are moments within it that I am saying to myself, I am not familiar with any of this world that's going on here.
Listen, I wasn't familiar with it. Really. Listen, I give this disclaimer now. I will not tell you what was true, what was not true. Just know it may or may not have happened.
Oh, I tell you that gets everyone's appetite, you know, piqued and ready to go. It's so fantastic.
The fetish world for the big girl is real, and if you're not aware, you end up in it, and you be like, "What happened? Why are you still trying to feed me Cheetos? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. No, thank you. I don't want no more Cheetos. Thank you."
You are a blast, and I tell you, that story is a blast. I was saying to myself, "Oh my gosh, you know, if HBO or somebody else gets a hold of this thing, I'm so glad you got it registered in the right spots. Because, you know, if they get a hold of this thing, they're gonna be like, how do we put this together?" You know?
Yeah, listen, we've already submitted. And I was telling you, for the writers out there, there is a writing competition that is going on now with ABFF for pilots, drama, and comedy. So if you are a writer, you need to hit that ABFF website and go and submit your product. Because I feel like that there is room for us all. And you ain't gonna take my spot, boo, because it's mine. They got my name on it. And my butt is big enough to squish you if you try. Okay. But, I just wanted to make sure that we could produce valid content. Somebody asked me if I could figure out the difference between mine and somebody else. I would say mine is probably a cross between Girls Trip.
Oh, okay.
And being Mary Jane.
Oh, I've seen, I don't remember how many seasons there were of Being Mary Jane. I don't think I saw them all, but that's kind of a good analogy between the two of them. And
you read the script, so you know.
Yes. I mean, once, that analogy in of itself, people, once they hear that, if you weren't excited about what Courtney and I was talking about, that will get you excited because it is exactly like that. There's no doubt. Colin, let me ask you a really deep question real quick. Uh-oh. So if someone's out there and they have been creative or they are creative now and they want to take themselves and say, you know what, I'm tired of the walls of me not being creative. I'm tired of me just being an automaton and I want to get to the next level and I want to actually be creative again or unleash it. What advice or what thoughts would you give them to think about, to do?
Okay, I'm going to answer that, but I need you to define automaton because everybody don't have big words like you, Winston. You're going to have to break it down in layman's terms for the little people.
Like a robot. So.
Okay. It sounded like it was probably something like that. So I wanted to make sure so that I can answer the question correctly.
So cool. You caught me out there with my I was once having a conversation with a group of people, and I was saying them out loud. I was like, I can talk a lot. I'm a bit loquacious, and they were like, "What does that mean?" They stopped me in the middle of my speech.
Define it for us.
They were like, "What does that mean?" So
don't make me what we done so I can go look it up. It's too much. It's too much. I think that the first thing you can do is to just do it.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about it so much. I know some amazing writers. And I know some amazing writers that feel like, I know amazing writers that have no finished product. Mm. And it's because they want it to come out perfectly. It's like you want it to be this masterpiece from the first stroke of your pen, baby. Yeah. Write it down.
Yeah, perfection is the enemy of getting things done sometimes.
And you can perfect it as you write it down.
That's right.
Get it out your brain. Write it down. If you're not a writer, as far as you don't want to type it up, there are so many different programs. You got Dragonfly, you've got Voice Type, you got all these different things that you can do. You can put notes on your phone. You can be old school and do the pen and paper. I do a little bit of everything.
That's right.
Right? But the key is to first write it down so that you can see if your vision is complete and if it has a beginning, an end, and a middle.
Right.
Those are important. You can see whether or not you actually like the idea enough to develop it, because you may be one of the people who may not necessarily have the gifts for finishing things, but you're a great think tank. So you may be able to partner with somebody who is the person who can take it all the way, but you are the start. You're the person who can actually give them the ideas and help guide them in the right direction as they do the majority of the legwork.
To get going. Yeah.
Get going. Yeah. Partner yourself with someone who is willing to hold you accountable.
Yeah. That is awesome. I tell you, one of the things that you said, and probably one of the things that it really hurts me and hurts my soul, is that when I encounter people that I've known, and it's probably more aware because I'm getting older in life, who talk about stuff that they're gonna do, but they don't do anything. They ain't sought nothing, or they said, this is what I've been working on for the last decade, and it's all rummaging around inside of their brain, and they haven't taken that one step. So I love what you shared. Like, hey, just take a step. I believe that you take a step. 2 steps will take itself if you take 1 step.
I used to be that person, believe it or not. Like, when you work with me now, you'd be like, what? Because, I'm like, no, what are we doing? Let's focus. Let's get this done. And the reason why I can say, no, let's focus. Let's get this done is because I am good at just about everything. And I don't say that to toot my own horn, but I have the ability to be able to learn things quickly and to apply them and keep it going.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes you get caught up in what is not necessarily your passion, but just in things that you are good at or things that you can do. And then everybody starts to have these ideas about what you should be doing with your life. And you find yourself on this path of trying to discover who you were through somebody else's eyes.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage the thinker. I want to encourage the doer. You can do both, but you have to make a decision to start. I decided that I was going to take a small step forward, which was start it, finish it. Even if it was horrible, in my opinion, start it and finish it and move that to the side. And then start it and finish it. And that doesn't mean that I don't have scatterbrain moments, because I can be in the middle of something and I will have this idea of what something else should be, but I've learned to write the synopsis down instead of trying to complete it. Right. I'll get the idea of what it's supposed to be in my head onto paper or into my writing program, and then I'll go back to whatever I was doing to complete it.
That's a powerful message, and I believe, and I've probably been that person as well, because you're right. Somebody will talk to me and they'll say, hey, well, you're really adept at understanding how to do this business thing or this other thing, and then they'll try to do the same thing that people have done in the past, where they try to put you in a box. And it's okay in a way if you're serving a common good, and the principles, and you're trying to help someone get something done. At the same time, being aware that, yes, I am a creative person. When I do my principles every single year in order to craft my personal purpose statement, I always figure out what are the things that are the values that I hold. And creativity is always at the top. It's not other stuff. The other stuff is the stuff that we know how to do. Right?
Yeah. Creativity allows me to breathe.
Creativity. I can make the most awesome spreadsheets in the world that helps out somebody do something, but that's not who I am first. That's just.
And you do make great spreadsheets. You do.
Well, thank you. I don't think I've ever been commented directly about my spreadsheets.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Your breakdowns are pretty awesome.
I appreciate that. So this has been phenomenal. You know, for all of those who are listening to the podcast, wherever you are, in your car, you know, at home, you know, wherever you're listening to it, hopefully you've heard all of the great things that Courtney had to share today. She is just a phenomenal person. You will hear her name many, many times over the next course of weeks and months and years. So, Courtney, it's been awesome to have you. If someone wanted to reach out to you and talk to you, what's the best way to do that?
Like a stalker? Or...
Yeah, like that. What do they call them on the internet? The trolls, or what I don't know what they call
trolls.
them.
If you troll me, I'm gonna troll you back. You may not want to do that. I have not reached the level to where I am not petty.
You're what, a reciprocal troller? Is that what you mean?
I am, absolutely. I can be petty if you follow me and I follow you and you unfollow me. I'm gonna unfollow you back. I'm petty. I'm still petty. I'm working on me. Help me, Holy Ghost. Just pray for me. But you can find me. So my personal Instagram page is at, y'all know what the ad is by now, Courtney Arlett. That's CourtneyArlett. I'm pretty sure Winston is going to have this written down somewhere because I don't want to confuse myself by spelling too much tonight.
I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in the show notes. I'm going to put it in the notes in the podcast.
Look at you being, spreadsheets. And you can follow the show page at Pretty for a Big Girl. So it's the word pretty for a big girl is GURL. So Pretty for a Big Girl all together. You follow us. That page is not as petty.
Is that an Instagram or is that a website?
That's I need to get my website. Thank you, Winston. You always showing it polite. But that is the Instagram.
Okay.
We are also on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
Pretty for a Big Girl series. So, you can add us. Don't talk crazy to us because we'll talk back. And I say us because it's not just me monitoring these pages, and I can't be responsible.
So you've got admins that are like other people who have the capacity to respond on it.
They know they need to clap back the way I would. Don't let nobody troll you.
They have to clap back in your voice.
They do.
Wow.
Say who? What now? What happened? So, and they're good at it because sometimes I can't tell you if it was me or them. So you just need to be aware. When you come follow us. But we do want you to follow us. We want you to come and support us. And we're ready to show the networks. We're ready. But I will say that we're going to do it with or without them. It would just be nice to spend somebody else's money.
Courtney, as I anticipated, this has been a blast. This has been so much fun. For those of you listening to the podcast today, please go to the website risingtidescharity.org. Remember, one of the things that helped us to think about what this charity should be about is a speech that was given by JFK back in the day, 50 plus years ago, about a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's really what our vision is to not just help all of us that are creative, but if you have an organization, if you have a mission or a vision, how do we help you do that? We recently had a phenomenal board meeting, and you'll be seeing some great things from us this year. We're going to be sending out some messages, in the near future about a retreat or a summit that we'll be having, at some point here in the third quarter of the year, where you'll have an opportunity to come down and learn about acting, learn about public speaking, learn about writing, all of that. And our gracious sponsors will be helping us to put that together. And our goal is for you to help us to donate to our organization to help to make that happen, and to help us with the scholarship program that we'll be having. And then in 2020, our grand vision is to take the creative platform that we have and take it abroad, and to be able to help a community that has not seen the great things that we've done around playwriting or screenwriting or filming or public speaking and all of that, and to make sure that they get the basic sustenance needs that they need, but at the same time expose them to the creative world that we all love. So Courtney, again, it's been great to have you. Thank you so much. Any parting words for the audience?
Live louder than you dream.
That is phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and write that one down, if you're okay with that.
That's fine. Write it down. Ink it in. Get a tattoo.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to get that right on my forehead.
No, not on your forehead.
No, I wouldn't do that.
We still working that double life. You can't do that.
That might have a consequence that I'm not ready for.
Yeah, no.
It's cool. Thank you so much, Courtney. Everyone, it's been a great blast. Please download this, share it, and Courtney, have a great one. I'll talk to you very, very soon. You can stay informed about the Rising Tides charity in several ways. You can go to our website at risingtidescharity.org. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @Rising Tides Charity. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Rising Tides Charity. You can also email us if you'd like to join our newsletter, to join our community at info@risingtidescharity.org. You can subscribe to us on Podbeam or on iTunes. Please leave us any comments or messages. We'd love to hear from you. And we look forward to continuing to share with you those that are inspiring and using creativity to encourage and serve our community. Everyone, this is Winston, and we'll see you again on our next podcast. We love you all. Take care.